Boop, 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 boop. You're watching the O2C Media Network. I'm Franklin Pangborn, sitting in for Harry von Stuttgart, and this is Steve Sporty Balls on the O2C Media Network. And here's Steve. Thank you. Hello, hello. Welcome, one and all, to the Corsican Ball. I'm feeling good, but for the past now 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, uh, yeah, 4 days. 4 days, Sunday through Thursday, we have had problems with the internet. Tonight, we're not going to let that stop us. We're just going to keep going, and we're going to just get started right now. We're going 45 minutes, probably 50. But to do that, we got to race it. We're more than a minute down. Let's go for a look. And as we just came on the air, the Pistons made it two in a row. Let's give you the scores right now of the action. The game's still going on. Right now, final score, the first seed Detroit Pistons beat the fourth seed Cleveland Cavaliers 107 to 97. Right there, and they have taken a 2-0 lead in the best of seven series. Next game that's going on right now, you can watch that if you got the money, the pesos and the dineros, because it's on Amazon Prime. The defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder are leading right now. 4 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first, the opening period, the opening quarter. Oklahoma leads LA 16-13. Let's get you right now. While we're at it, while we got this moment, let's go to the National Hockey League and see how their playoffs are doing. And right now, only one game in progress to even talk about. This one's on TNT. It's at the end of the second period. Carolina. This is a shocker. Carolina, the Hurricane, are leading the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1. They lead in their best of seven playoff series. They lead the Flyers 2-0. This is a stunner, ladies and gentlemen, a stunner. Shall we go for the baseball? Why not? Let's go for Major League Baseball, and then we'll get you some news of the sports world, media world. We'll also tackle some Hollywood stuff, and then I'll have a commentary. We lost three big voices, three big media giants, one local, two national. We'll explain it all coming up. Let's go and rock it, baby. Let's. Yeah, well, yeah, let's get to MLB, guys. Get to Major League Baseball scores. We got some news updates as well, so let's get to the scores that we can. All right, we'll even. Okay, I do believe everything is final today. Let's go to it. Yankees over the Texas Rangers 9-2. Washington beat Minnesota 7-5. Cleveland beat Kansas City 8-5. The Cubbies came back and they slam danced the Cincinnati Reds 8-3. Colorado over the New York Mets. New bad news streak continues. 6-2 the final score. Pittsburgh over Arizona 4-2. The Athletics. Man, it must be I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia, but something is wrong with two of their teams. The Philadelphia Phillies lost to the Athletics 12-1. Miami over Baltimore 4-3. Tampa Bay over Boston 8-4. And the lone Thursday night game you can see on ESPN if available in your area. St. Louis goes up against San Diego. Let's go from that to some minor league scorage. And we'll take care of the scores. We'll do the news and everything else. You get the idea. Let's kick it off with tonight's action from minor league baseball. We go first to the International League, where Indianapolis beat Omaha in 10 innings, 5-4. Gwinnett and Norfolk were postponed due to rain. Columbus beat Iowa 4-2. Got a double dip between Nashville and Louisville, and Nashville swept it. They beat Louisville in game 1, 3-1. Then in game 2, they did the slam dance again. They beat Louisville 9-2. Bottom of the 11th inning, Scranton Wilkes-Barre and Worcester are tied at 8 after 11 innings. Syracuse over Rochester 3-2. Memphis over Toledo 11-4. Durham over Round Rock 2-1. Buffalo over Lehigh Valley 13-5. Charlotte over Jacksonville 16-1. The Pacific Coast lead action. Scores right now, bottom of the 8th inning, Oklahoma City over Salt Lake 6-5. Albuquerque over Sugar Land 7-3. El Paso in the top of the 7th. El Paso in the bottom of the 5th leads Tacoma 3-1. And in the bottom of the 1st inning, Sacramento leads Reno 1-0. Warming up at the middle of it all, it's St. Paul at Vegas. In the Eastern League, another double dip and another little fun cha-cha dance. Let's give it to you. Game 1, New Hampshire beat Portland 4-2. In the top of the 8th, New Hampshire and Portland. New Hampshire wants to sweep it. Portland wants to split it. They're at the top of the 8th right now, and it's New Hampshire and Portland in a 3-3 tie. Hartford over Binghamton 5-3. Erie over Harrisburg 4-2. Chesapeake over Altoona 4-3. Somerset over Reading 11-0. And Richmond over Akron 5-4. In the Southern League, Birmingham over Knoxville 4-1. And Biloxi over Columbus 7-6. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Rocket City over Pensacola 7-3. And Chattanooga in the bottom of the 8th over Montgomery 4-3. In the Texas League, here we go, another double dip of doubleheader. And this time it was a split. Game 1 with Springfield beat Corpus Christi by a score of 4-3. Game 2 was the opposite as Corpus Christi beat Springfield 4-2. Game's still going on right now. Top of the 8th inning, Wichita over Amarillo 14-7. Arkansas, that's in top of the 8th. Bottom of the 7th, Arkansas over Tulsa 9-4. Top of the 8th, Northwest Arkansas over Frisco 8-6. And in the bottom of the 7th, Midland over San Antonio 6-2. In the Midwest League, our league, let's rock it. Here we go. Dayton Dragons beat the West Michigan Whitecaps 8-5. In a double header action, one win extra and one still going on. The Great Lakes Loons wanting to take both ends of the doubleheader. It took 8 innings, but the Great Lakes Loons lose to Lake County Captains 15-13. In the bottom of the 5th in Game 2, Great Lakes Loons lead Lake County 4-1. They're wanting to split. Fort Wayne beat Beloit 3-1. South Bend over Lansing 2-1. Quad Cities over Cedar Rapids 2-0. Top of the 9th. By the way, I misspoke myself. South Bend leads Lansing 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th. Top of the 9th inning, Wisconsin leads Peoria 5-3. In the Northwest League, top of the 2nd inning, it's Vancouver 2, Eugene 0. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Spokane and Tri-Cities are deadlocked at 0. Warming up, it's Hillsboro at Everett. Goose eggs, they're warming up. They've yet to start. South Atlantic League final in 7 innings, the full 7. It's another double dip trip. Hub City beat Wilmington in Game 1 of the doubleheader, 7-5. Right now, Wilmington and Hub City are in the top of the 7th. They're tied at 4. Greenville over Greensboro, 5-4. Rome over Asheville. Took 7 innings, but they did something right. Rome over Asheville, 7-5. Winston-Salem beat Hudson, 7-3. Frederick over Jersey Shore, 11-4. And Bowling Green over Brooklyn, 9-2. In the California League, everything is still going on because it's in Southern California. Top of the eighth, Inland Empire leads Lake Elsinore 2-1. Bottom of the third, Fresno over San Jose, 8-1. Top of the third, Ontario and Rancho Cucamonga slotted at goose eggs. And in the bottom of the first, Visalia strikes it. They lead Stockton 1-0. The Carolina League, Myrtle Beach over Hickory, 9-7. Fredericksburg over Hill City, 4-2. Fayetteville over Wilson, 3-2 in 7 innings. Delmarva over Salem, 6-2. Bottom of the 10th, Columbia down 1 on Kannapolis, 3-2. And Charleston defeated Augusta, 13-7. In the Florida State League, these are your finals, and one game still going on. Let's report it. Tampa and Fort Myers are tied at 6. Meanwhile, final scores: Daytona over Clearwater, 9-4. Lakeland over St. Lucie, 4-1. Jupiter over Palm Beach, 1-0. Dunedin over Bradenton, 9-6. In the Independent Minor League Baseball League, all of these are finals, but one. Let's give you the one that's working out here. Top of the 7th inning, Southern Maryland leads Gastonia, 12-2. Final scores: Lancaster over Lexington, 6-2. And in 10 innings, it was High Point over York, 5-4. Long Island over Hagerstown, 7-0. Charleston over Staten Island, 10-4. In the Frontier League, every one of these little games are still going on. Top of the 9th inning, Brockton leads New York, 6-5. Mississippi over Gateway, 5-2. In the bottom of the 8th, in the top of the 9th, Evansville leads Florence, 5-0. And in the bottom of the 9th inning, Windy City leads Washington, 6-3. In junior hockey action, the North American Hockey League playoffs continuing. Maryland over Rochester by a score of 5-2. Lone Star at El Paso, game began at 9 o'clock. We have no reports on that third game playoff. In the American Hockey League, we've only got one final to report, and that is from Game 4. Springfield leads Providence 1-0. And the rest, we have not heard anything from either Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins at the Hershey Bears or Ontario Reign at the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Well, mainly because that game just began. In the SPHL, Evansville is leading Peoria with early on in the regulation time, otherwise known as the third period, 2-1. It's the score in Game 4 of the championship. In women's professional hockey, and by the way, Detroit just got awarded a professional women's hockey league franchise. Salute. Montreal leads Minnesota. So Montreal beat Minnesota in the Game 3 of their playoff action by a score of 2-1. In other women's sports action, we have no report from Omaha Indy in the playoff game in Frisco, nor have we got any report from San Diego at Dallas, which is happening in Frisco, Texas. Only one game to report in the MLS Next Pro League, and that is only one final. Huntsville City over Carolina, 3-0. We have no report on Miami at Birmingham. And that, ladies and gentlemen, beats your scores right there. Let's go now to some sports headlines from CBS Sports, and then we'll go beyond and beneath. Or is that beyond and below? Either way, we go to it. Okay, with the annual tradition that every football fan is just dying over, Well, actually, we're cheering over. Friends, coming up, it is that moment in time that all football fans, all NFL football fans are cheering for, and that is the release of the NFL 26 schedule of action. The schedule will be released later this month. We will bring you, hopefully, we'll bring you some of the action as the schedule for all 18 weeks of the 26th season will be finally released. Now, this year, there's going to be a record setting 9 international games. Now, the slate will include 3 new cities: Rio de Janeiro, Paris, and Melbourne, Australia. And here we go. Of the 9 games, we know 2 matchups so far. Melbourne in week 1, September 10th, will be the 49ers versus the Rams, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time, live, not on the networks. It'll be on Netflix. And on September 27th, week 3, Rio de Janeiro, you'll have the Ravens versus the Cowboys, 4:25, live on CBS Eastern Time. In the other 7 games, we know who the home team will be, but we don't know who they'll be playing. And with that in mind, here's a little prediction for you. Falcons in Madrid. Possible opponents: Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers, Bears, Lions, 49ers, Ravens, Bengals, or the Chiefs. The prediction will be the Bears or the Chiefs. I'm going to stick my neck out and say the Bears will meet the Falcons in Madrid. The Lions will be in Munich. Their opponents: the Bears, Packers, Vikings, Saints, Buccaneers, Giants, Patriots, Jets, and Titans. Now, a lot of people are saying that let's get that nice little revenge with either the Bears or the Packers. But I think this one, I'm going to stick my neck out again, and I'm going to say it. Lions will take on the Buccaneers in Munich. CBS thinks it's the Giants. I'm saying the Buccaneers. Jaguars in London for not 1 but 2 games. Their opponents possible: Texans, Colts, Titans, Browns, Steelers, Patriots, Commanders, and Eagles. Now, CBS Sports is predicting that the Jaguars, prediction number 1, the Browns or the Titans. Prediction number 2, the Eagles or Commanders. I'm going to stick my neck out and say prediction number 1 will be the Steelers. Prediction number 2, I think it's going to be the Eagles. Okay, Commanders, their possible opponents: Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Rams, Seahawks, Falcons, Texans, Colts, Bengals. CBS says Bengals or Texans. I'm going to say it's going to be the Cowboys, possible opponents. Cowboys and Indians, you got to love it. Saints in Paris, possible opponents: Falcons, Buccaneers, Panthers, Packers, Vikings, Cardinals, Browns, Steelers, Raiders. While CBS thinks it's going to be the Browns or the Raiders, I'm going to say maybe, just maybe, it'll be the Vikings. 49ers, their game in Mexico City, their possible opponents: Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, Broncos, or Raiders. I'm saying the Broncos. CBS, of course, says the Broncos or Dolphins. I'm going Broncos. And there you go. Let's keep going. Yeah, I like this fast and foremost. In this world of college basketball, friends, we got news for you. It has been voted. After years of anxious speculation, the inevitable was official today. The Division I men's and women's basketball committees for formally voted in favor of expanding the NCAA tournament from 68 teams to 76. The NCAA announced the inflation will take effect next year. CBS Sports first reported the news of the approved expansion earlier today. The voting in favor of expanding March Madness was unanimous from the men's and women's committees, per a source. By Thursday afternoon, the NCAA sent out two hearty press releases in order to dutifully explain why expansion was happening and detail the cluttered layout of the new March Madness bracket. I can't wait to see this. And hello, Matt, Ed, Nettie, and hello, Donovan. So this marks the third time since 2000 that the March Madness, the NCAA basketball tournaments, have escalated to a larger field. In 2001, it went from 64 to a 65-team model after the Mountain West creation led the NCAA to keep 34 at-large bids, coercing the bracket to include a playing game in Dayton, Ohio through the millennia. In 2011 was 68 team field materialized after approval of a 96-team tournament concept. In 2010 was abandoned in the 11th hour due to significant outcry from the media and college sports fans. Similar concerns were ignored this time around. The first forum was created in 2011, effectively giving precedent for expansion in 2027 to an awkwardly shaped 76-team bracket. CBS Sports previously reported on April 28th the predetermined nature of today's tournament expansion outcome. And yes, this is dual expansion. The women's NCAA tournament also going to 76 teams, despite NCAA sources maintaining for years that there's no practical or realistic justification, either competitively or financially, to do so. The choice to expand by 16 total teams in both tournaments will come at significant additional cost for the NCAA. But we also got to remember one thing. As you know, CBS is at this moment, CBS and their NCAA tournament partners at Turner Sports, TNT, and we'll get to them in just a moment. But they are in the throes of the ultimate merger mania. CBS, of course, parent company. CBS, of course, their parent company is Paramount Skydance. They're in the latter stages of completing their merger with the parent company of TNT/Turner Sports and Turner Network, TBS, TNT, and True TV, among a plethora of other cable outlet things that both Paramount Skydance and Warner Brothers Discovery own, and we'll have to ferret out. But if everything goes right before the end of this year, you're going to see a ginormous media empire. Good going, Paramount, Skydance, and Warner Brothers Discovery. Okay, let's keep this going, because why? We're at 24 minutes past the hour. So how will it go? How will it be? You're going to have to wait, find out like I am, for Selection Special 27, because that's when this whole thing gets started in the 2027 session. Okay. Let's get on with our next report, then we'll go to the media side of things. After months of waiting, the Pittsburgh Steelers should receive finality this weekend as Aaron Rodgers weighs whether or not to return for the 26th season. According to NFL media, Rodgers is expected to visit the Steelers on Friday and through the weekend, and is likely to re-sign for another year with the team. While there is no deal in place, it appears Rodgers and the Steelers will work towards an agreement in the coming days. That's progress considering the future Hall of Famer has spent the entire offseason up to this point debating whether or not to play. But they are. They are going to play. Whether or not to play at all, in fact. This is the closest the sides have been coming to terms on a contract for 2026. The Steelers left the door open for their incumbent starter to reclaim his role, and team president Art Rooney II initially said he expected Rodgers to make a decision before the draft. Now, nearly 2 weeks removed from the draft, the Steelers reportedly set an unofficial deadline for their quarterback to make up his mind. The club, according to the Post-Gazette, wants an answer by the start of OTAs on May 18th. With Rodgers' visit scheduled for this weekend, things look to be on schedule to unfold ahead of that soft deadline. Okay, we keep going. Yeah. Okay. Engulfed at the THORsday championship, after more than 2 inches of rain fell at Quail Hollow Country Club between Wednesday evening and Thursday morning, players took to the golf course around noon Eastern to begin the 26th THORsday Championship. Matt McCarthy ultimately setting the early pace. The PGA Tour sophomore soared to new heights in the first round thanks to a red-hot putter, carding an 8 under 63, good for a 1-stroke lead over Sungjae Im. First round was suspended at 7:10 p.m. due to weather in the area, with just a handful of groups left on the golf course. So right now, without going through the palaver, let's go for the leaderboard. Matt McCarthy, first place at 8 under, followed in second place by Sungjae Im at 7 under. 5 golfers tied in third with 5 under: Christopher Rotien, Nick Taylor, Harry Hale, Nikolai Herhard, and Sepp Straka. And 5 other players are in a battle tied for 8th place with -4: Corey Connors, Tommy Fleetwood, Alex Fitzpatrick, David Lipsky, and Tony Finau. They'll finish the first round probably tomorrow before they start the second round. I love this fast pace, don't you? Okay, let us go right now. Let's go right now to our Hollywood report. I'm going to sip me some more tea. Okay. Television is the big topic, and NBC has renewed Law and Order for a 26th season. It came close to the wire for comfort, but Law and Order, the original, boom, boom, will live on, finalizing a 26th season renewal for 26-27. Our friends at Deadline have learned an official pickup is expected as soon as tomorrow. Friday, 3 days before NBC is slated to unveil its fall lineup to advertisers Monday at its upfront presentation. Season 26 will not be designated as a final. Sources say it's unclear what cuts the show may be undergoing. Some are saying that details are being worked out. Budget trims have become customary for long-running broadcast series with big-name casts, and that includes the Dick Wolf franchise on NBC. The mothership is heavy with stars, but has kept its size relatively small, with 6 series regulars this season: Tony Goldwyn, Hugh Dancy, Maura Tierney, Reed Scott, Odella Halevi, and David Ajaya. After scoring renewal alongside spin-off Law & Order SVU last year, the mothership series unexpectedly found itself on the bubble this season. And with a strong crop of 5 drama pilots, NBC decided to keep its options open by keeping Law and Order on the bubble alongside Sophomore's Brilliant Minds and The Hunting Party. Law and Order was always believed to have the best renewal chances among the three. Brilliant Minds already has been canceled, and The Hunting Party has been kept in contention in part of the halo effect in its Netflix run had on its streaming viewership on Peacock. Wow, that's lots of big jumbled words. Additionally, it's hard to imagine NBC canceling an iconic series like Law and Order. It'd be like CBS canceling Gunsmoke when it was running. So there you go on the TV side. Let's take you to the movies. There is going to be a sequel to Michael. We just don't know about it, though. And, well, in other business news in the entertainment world, when Nexstar CEO Perry Sook opened an investor call on Thursday, he referred to the company's merger situation with Tegna as, quote, unusual. That sounds like an understatement. The company's hopes of becoming a broadcaster behemoth with almost 260 stations covering 80% of the country, well above the current and archaic 39% broadcast ownership cap, has been put on pause by an antitrust case in California. Several legal challenges are also being mounted in D.C. over the way that the FCC gave the deal its blessing. Now, while there ultimately could be some sort of resolution where Nexstar agrees to more divestitures, the company is in the rather rare position of owning assets that it, under the terms of a court order, largely has to keep apart, which gives me an idea. Why don't they just put Tegna under a Nexstar subsidiary and just leave it at that? Both independent, both not touchable. Now, what's unclear is the timeline, whether it will be weeks or months before Nexstar can proceed, or in the alternative, drop its plans to merge or greatly alter them in the face of adverse court ruling. We'll find out rather soon. I thought it was Next. I thought it was the other Next. Netflix. Apologies. Let's see here. What do we got? Brandy Granville reacts to rumors Leanne Rimes is joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills by saying, quote, she's got everything else of mine. I don't know what that means. Let's see. In international entertainment news, Meet the Beatles. The cast has been unveiled for the BBC and ZDF series Hamburg Days, depicting the band's early years. And that's it for your entertainment news for now. Let's get you to some awful announcing news, and then we will spirit ourselves out of here. Now, as we told you at the onset, the first international game is not going to be on it, which will be in Australia, is not going to be on regular television. It's going to be on Netflix. That's right. Netflix has gotten what they've long wanted, a bigger piece of the NFL broadcasting pie. According to the Athletic's Andrew Marchand, the streamer will broadcast the league's first ever regular season game from Australia in Week 1, featuring the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. They will also air the game on Thursday, September 10th. Well, Netflix will air the game on Thursday, September 10th, kickoff at 8:35 p.m. from the legendary Melbourne Cricket Ground, the largest stadium in Australia. Think the Michigan Stadium times 2. NBC is expected to handle the game's production. Good. The early season deal bookends Netflix's current broadcast relationship with the NFL, which has included 2 Christmas Day games. However, this might not be the only new NFL game that the streaming platform has this season. Before Marchand's report dropped, Puck's John Hourland said on X, quote, Netflix is close to an NFL deal that looks likely include the Week 1 game in Australia, the Thanksgiving Eve game, and the Christmas games. Hourland promised to provide more details in his newsletter, The Varsity. The NFL floated the idea of a Thanksgiving Eve game earlier this year, and the Wall Street Journal previously reported that it was part of a 4-game package Netflix was eyeing. Now, none of this is too surprising given the ongoing reports this offseason around the NFL's desire to carve out mini packages for media partners like Netflix. The Australia game also aligns with streamers' worldwide audience strategy, which is very appealing to the internationally minded NFL. It aligns with reports that the NFL wants to increase its broadcast footprint this season compared to last season. 87% of the NFL games aired on broadcast networks last season, and the league expects that number to increase a little slightly this season. News that isn't likely to sit well with the government officials currently probing the NFL over its media rights push towards streaming services and that lovely antitrust deal. Earlier in the day, Alex Sherman of CNBC reported that the NFL planned to divvy up the former Monday Night Football doubleheader games between YouTube and Netflix. The news came amid separate reports suggesting YouTube is in line to land a 5-game package and that Netflix was interested in expanding its NFL package. Like the Christmas Day games, the Australia games will require a Netflix subscription to watch, except in local markets where the games will be available on over-the-air TV, as has been standard protocol for all NFL games that are nationally on streamers. So before you say, yay, we're going to be watching that game in the Lansing-Jackson market. No. And we're not going to get that Lions game. No, correction. We are going to get that Lions game in Germany. I do know that. Okay, let's get to one more story as we will. One final one because we are getting close to the end of the line here. As ESPN continues to vacuum up golf broadcast rights, remember they used to carry golf in the early days, but now as we approach ESPN's 50th anniversary, they're getting back into the game. It is taking over a portion of the PGA Championship telecast that is typically reserved for CBS. The Total Sports worldwide leader airs 8 hours of tournament coverage on Thursday and Friday, which will be played this year at Aronimink Golf Club outside Philadelphia. Typically, during the 6 years that ESPN has held rights to the PGA Championship, CBS announcers Jim Nantz and Trevor Immelman have cut in for 2 hours each day of the call. Now, according to a report from Josh Carpenter at Sports Business Journal, that will change this year as ESPN will take over all early round broadcasts. I mean, Scott Van Pelt and ESPN's well-regarded golf crew will have the reins all day Thursday and Friday before CBS takes over during the weekend. Now, without CBS's presence during the week, ESPN will now air more total hours of PGA Championship coverage than CBS. Of course, viewership and interest are stronger down the stretch of major tournaments. SBJ reported that the move could be part of a growing interest in golf by ESPN, which provides early round coverage of the championship, PGA Championship, and the Masters, and is a founding partner of the Golf League. ESPN is facing incursions, however, from newcomers in sports broadcasting as Prime Video has entered the fray this year with early round coverage of the Masters for the first time, and Netflix has produced golf docuseries and live specials. Let's keep going. Let's see. I want to touch on something, but yes, while we're here on the subject, we're going to um, our commentary tonight. Is we have lost two. We have not. This week has not been great for sports fans, especially sports broadcasting fans. We have lost three giants, two national and one local. And all of them provide great memories. We go for the first one. He was the voice of the Yankees through thick and thin, the mighty one named John Sterling. Sterling, of course, cut his teeth in broadcasting with, as part of the infamous Fun Guys of the Atlanta Braves on television and, of course, radio, television, TBS, WTBS Superstation, when the Braves were owned by Ted Turner and were broadcast on WTBS. John Sterling worked with legends Ernie Johnson Sr., Skip Carey, and Pete Van Wieren. And along those years, they were mean years, they were lean years, but they were good years. The whole world was watching, as was the whole nation. Indeed. They were watching America's team, and John Sterling was great on the call. Then, of course, he found his greatest fun as Yankee broadcaster. And to say he delivered to the fans some great calls is an understatement. His way of play-by-play was as a fan. He spoke as a fan. He reacted as a fan. He was one of us with a microphone. His legendary calls, and of course, when the Yankees would win, ball game over, series over, the Yankees win, the Yankees win, was established and was very much impersonated by one and all, including yours truly. John Sterling died at the age of 87 this week. And true to his last name, his voice was truly and will always be Sterling. Our second sad passing, he was a renegade. He was Captain Outrageous. He was unique, and he didn't care about how it would hurt. He didn't care about what other people would think. He was crazy, he was insane for doing it, but this man did it. And he did it with class, style, and just a creative master. R.E. Ted Turner lived a great life. He worked for a while for his dad's advertising firm, which was, of course, Turner. Remember that name? We all do. Anyway, Ted Turner made news a long time when he decided to buy a poorly watched UHF Channel 17 and brought it lock, stock, and barrel and gave it a new life, not only as Atlanta's independent station, but a super station. His was the first station to go national on a new thing called cable and satellite, called Superstation WTBS, classic movies, and then, yes, friends, some sports. And what sports? America's team, the Atlanta Braves, and America's basketball team, the Atlanta Hawks. Both were owned by Ted Turner. Then came the Atlanta Flames. Who says you can't do a trifecta? And with then WTCG, now WTBS, Ted Turner gave those teams and some classic shows and pro wrestling a national stage. Last night, Tony Schiavone and Sting gave tribute to the memory of Captain Outrageous, Billionaire Ted, Big Ted, to others, the mastermind, the renegade. He gave us a superstation, gave us 24-hour news channel, which needs to be fixed, and he gave us 3 reasons to love sports. 4th, count pro wrestling. And he played peacemaker for a while. When Moscow boycotted the Olympics, Ted said that was enough. He was going to try to be a peacemaker. And thus, the Goodwill Games was born. He also brought, as we said, not only the superstation, WTBS, now just plain old TBS, but he also made a second network where a lot of critics said that would go wrong. Well, TNT still lives, but is now expanded into places and originals no one has ever thought of. The Turner brand was growing. Ted Turner didn't stop at just cable television networks. He bought a movie company, MGM, and came very close to buying CBS. How close? That close. And now, full circle. Warner Brothers Discovery is about to merge, which is the new parent company for the Turner folk, for the Turner Networks, among others, is about to be gobbled up and merged with Paramount Skydance. Now, Ted's dream was to own a television network to go along with TBS and TNT. Like I said, he came close. But he lived long enough to see his dream literally come to fruition. Paramount Skydance, you see, is the parent company that owns not just the Paramount cable networks, but also a television network called CBS. Part of that is CBS News. And that Ted Turner also wanted to merge with CNN. Now, both dreams will be realized. He conquered the world of animation when, along with MGM, he bought Hanna-Barbera. Both were gobbled up by Warner Brothers. But still, Turner Classic Movies lives on, so reluctantly does CNN. Once the world's news leader, now just trying to survive, as 3rd place to a fox that roars. Ted Turner is 87 years old when he passed away. In our third and another sad passage, sports journalist and local sports talk show host Pat Caboodle.